What's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. Look, the different border, or the older border, on the desk-style videos. Do you like it? Let me know down in the comments. Welcome back to Chelsea News, of course, the daily series here on the channel, Football Therapy, where I reflect on what's being said about the Blues. We're going to talk about some quotes from Griffin from the Ricketts consortium about buying Chelsea Football Club. Eden Hazard, a meeting set up to join Arsenal. We can talk about some other stuff. Chelsea have denied Palace the opportunity to play Gallagher in the semi-final. Not really much to say about that. And Tchouaméni off to Real Madrid. Oh, lots to get into, ladies and gentlemen. Please consider dropping a like on the video, because it helps me out on the deep dark abyss that is the YouTube algorithm, which has me in the trenches at the moment. And a lot of people who want to watch my content don't see it in their like upload recommendations. So make sure when you do subscribe, you have the bell notifications icon turned on, because I'm only saying that because many of you have messaged me saying you're not getting the updates. So you have to make sure all notifications are on. Anyway, let me do a button up here. I don't want to be too revealing and get you all too excited for this excellent footballing content. Let's just quickly say Gallagher is unable to play Chelsea in the semi-final at Wembley against Chelsea. Unsurprisingly, Patrick Vieira and Crystal Palace made a request for him to be able to play in said semi. Chelsea denied it. This is the last realistic trophy Chelsea can win. They want every chance to win it. Of course, an example of this is Frank Lampard when he had Tomori and Mason Mount. He requested that his Derby team could play them both. Chelsea granted his request because, it's Frank Lampard, essentially. Patrick Vieira isn't Frank Lampard in terms of having connections to Chelsea. So that's that. We move on. Gallagher will be disappointed, but he'll have plenty of chances to play at Wembley for hopefully both England and Chelsea. Let's move on. Let's just turn the aperture down a little bit as well. If I can do that. Can I do that? Okay, it's my camera's being weird. First off, let's talk about Aurélien Tchouaméni. Quickly going to be citing this story from HITC. £83 million Liverpool and Chelsea target. I don't know where this £83 million price tag came from. We'll find out. Liverpool and Chelsea target Aurélien Tchouaméni. Surely a target of Man United as well, you'd have to think, has reportedly picked his club for next summer, with the midfielder now eyeing a move to Real Madrid. And they've just bought Camavinga. Granted, Kroos, Casemiro and Modric are old, so I guess they're rebuilding for the future, or want to. Camavinga and Tchouaméni, two of the best young French midfielders in the world, would represent an opportunity for them to do that. According to AS, the France international has decided on a transfer to the La Liga giants following a breakout season in Ligue 1, with Tchouaméni's form catching the eye of some of Europe's biggest clubs, including Chelsea. However, despite Premier League interest from the likes of Liverpool and Thomas Tuchel Chelsea, Tchouaméni is favouring a move to Madrid, with AS Monaco setting an €100 million £83 million price tag for the midfielder this summer, as reported by Foot Mercato. Tchouaméni has been one of the best young midfielders in France this season and has exploded onto the scene as one of the most exciting young players in Europe, with Liverpool and Chelsea eyeing the 22-year-old. It would have been great to get him. I'm not saying it's completely off the table. Tchouaméni wants to go to Real Madrid. It's unsurprising. Most people want to go to Real Madrid. Excuse me, I got a bit of hay fever. Even if you think, Real Madrid aren't what they used to be, it's still Real Madrid. It's the Bernabeu. It's the money they pay. It's the fact how you win loads of trophies in Spain and the history and stuff. I get it. I'm not saying Tchouaméni's completely off the table, but it would not surprise me at all if he ends up going to Real Madrid, rebuilding their midfield with Camavinga in there, taking the torch, the passing of the torch from Modric, Casemiro and Kroos, who, by the way, still look excellent. And we as Chelsea fans know that. Let's move on. Let's talk about Eden Hazard quickly. I'll be reciting an article here from the Metro, published yesterday. Arsenal hold meeting to discuss shock transfer deal for Real Madrid flop. That's not nice words, is it? Real Madrid flop. And Chelsea hero Eden Hazard, who's of course scored that goal against Arsenal. Arsenal held a meeting with Eden Hazard's representative this week as they are considering making an offer for the Real Madrid forward. French outlet Foot Mercato say the Gunners are thinking about bringing the former Chelsea star to the Emirates on loan this summer with an option to buy. Hazard established himself as a fan's favourite at Stamford Bridge, scoring more than 100 goals in his 7-year spell with West London and helping the Blues win 2 Premier League titles and 2 Europa Leagues, of course in a League Cup and an FA Cup as well. Real Madrid spent more than £100 million to sign Hazard in 2019, but the Belgians struggled at the Bernabeu, scoring just 6 goals over the past 3 seasons. What? Yeah, when you say it like that, it does sound like a flop. I mean, he's been injured. It's not worked. He's just not fit in. We all know the story. Due to his fitness issues, Hazard has been absent for large periods of his stint at Real Madrid and could be tempted to leave the club in an attempt to revive his career. Chelsea have been linked with a move for their ex-player, but now that seems unlikely, while Newcastle have said to be interested in the 31-year-old following their Saudi-backed takeover. Reports say in France that Arsenal are also monitoring Hazard's situation and have met with his representatives in the last week to discuss a possible deal. Whoa! The plan, Foot Mercato say, would be to sign Hazard on loan, potentially securing his signature on a permanent deal at the end of the season. Like the same what they did with Martin Odegaard, who's like obviously 10 years younger. Real Madrid are open to offloading Hazard, but reports claim that the Belgium international, would prefer to stay for the time being, to see out his contract in Spain, earn lots of money, stay in the sunshine, have a nice time, don't go to Arsenal. You know? Look, man, you can read on about that as if a little bit more. What do we take from that story? That there was a meeting. They want Hazard. Red flags. Quite literally red ones in the Emirates. I do maintain this. I think if Hazard comes to the Premier League, and I'm kind of saying most notably Chelsea because that was his temple where everyone loved it. It's the garden. Stamford Bridge is the Garden of Eden, as we call it. If he goes there, I believe the love of the Chelsea fans and the surroundings and the people, I personally believe / hope muscle memory would kick in and Hazard would perform, not like he used to, not to the same level, but certainly a lot better at what he did at Real Madrid. And let's get it right, he had injury problems at Real Madrid, he had a plate put in, he's just had that plate taken out of his ankle, so he's trying to reset and start again. I don't want him to go to Arsenal for obvious reasons, but also they'll have the similar kind of relatively risk-free deal that we would have had. Like if we speculated a loan with an option to buy, but no obligation in case it doesn't work, and maybe Real Madrid even pay for a bit of his wages, maybe. Maybe that's possible. But I don't know, man. Look, if he goes to Arsenal, I think we'll get a lot of very upset Chelsea fans. Arsenal would absolutely love it. Then again, I don't think they're going to be in the Champions League next season. I think Tottenham are going to do that. And I don't know if... would he care about going to a Champions League club? I mean, they'd probably need to be in the Champions League just to pay his wages. Anyway, we move on. Let's talk about this article here from The Express by a chap called Will Lancaster, talking about Ken Griffin, who of course is a big financial backer in the Ricketts bid to buy Chelsea. The two potential buyers for Chelsea at the moment that everybody's talking about is Todd Boehly and the Ricketts. The people's choice is Todd Boehly. The Bruce Buck choice is the Ricketts, and seemingly won't go away. American billionaire Ken Griffin has made a promise to Chelsea fans that he will help build, quote, the most competitive team possible, end quote. Another one of these things that means could mean anything. Like in that 8-point promise when they were we will continue to invest into the team. What does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean you're going to keep spending $200 million per summer? Or does that mean you're going to spend $35 million per window? Because both are it's loose, right? So when they say the most competitive team possible, Chelsea could turn into Arsenal, try and get top 4, and they're like, well, this is all that's possible. So you need to be very careful. Current owner Roman Abramovich has sanctions placed on him. Yes, 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 we all know that. Griffin, who was reportedly worth over £20 billion, was in London with his siblings last week in talks alongside Cleveland Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert as the group forms a consortium. An aggregate capital of £50 billion would take over the control of Stamford Bridge. £50 billion! That's a big consortium aggregate total, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. And Griffin displayed his delight at the bid forming ahead of a potential move. He said, quote, "I am thrilled to come together with my long-term friends and partners, the Ricketts family, and Dan Gilbert, who have built legendary championship teams," Griffin said. "Here I am with our own Avengers. We want to build something that might compete." He goes on to say, "All of us love to compete." Well, there's that word. "And even more, we love to win. Like, so does everyone." What does that even mean? "Our group will work closely together to put the most competitive team on the pitch every year. If selected, we will validate the trust placed onto us to continue Chelsea's winning tradition." Boom, that's important. "While delivering a terrific game day experience for the fans." Yeah, okay, I mean, relatively intangible. The Cavaliers and owner Dan Gilbert also shared his delight at the consortium being put together. Gilbert added, "We are excited to join the Ricketts family and Ken Griffin for their bid to acquire Chelsea, one of the most admired football clubs and professional sports teams in the world. We have a great respect and deep admiration for the long winning tradition of Chelsea and their millions of fans across the world. Rock Entertainment Group will approach the bid for Chelsea with the same philosophy as we operate our other professional sports teams. An open mind and listening ear to the fan base, ample investment, important, and unwavering commitment to both winning on the pitch and serving the community." Positive words, of course. Chelsea currently sit third. Interesting. I mean, I personally want to hear this, but I'm not sure they would or could say it. "We want to compete and overtake Manchester City and Liverpool." That's like the golden words, isn't it? If they went, "Look, we've fallen behind these guys. We want to cook with those guys and overtake them." Rather than these kind of like intangible, like, or abstract, "Yeah, we want to compete. We want to invest." Because these words mean nothing. The fact how he said winning traditions, continue the winning traditions of Chelsea, that's important. But again, it just says because you want to do something. I don't know. Words, you know, talk is cheap, ladies and gentlemen. And rich people like cheap things. That's how they get rich. It's how it works. Look, man, I still have huge reservations over the Ricketts. They're seemingly not the main head honcho in this consortium. Certainly not financially. At this point, I'm going to sort of just observe. I still personally want Todd Boehly, but we don't know what's going on in the background in terms of true financial might. Do you know what I mean? Like, Boehly, data-driven, wants to win, says all the right things, looks like there's money there. Sort of operating relatively quietly in the background in comparison to the others, which is usually a good sign, by the way. A lot of people want that. Is it going to be enough? Has Todd Boehly got the financial might? Has he truly set up and presented a bid to reign in the background that will make him triumphant, that will make him most qualified? At the moment, you'd have to think Broughton's consortium and Pagliuca, they're like failing behind. It does seem like the Ricketts and Boehly bids that are at the forefront of the line in terms of purchasing Chelsea. So I throw it out to you guys, the viewers. I want to start the conversation about it. Eden Hazard to Arsenal, how painful would that be? Let me know down in the comment section. Or, talk about the takeover. Talk about everything I've discussed in this video. I want to hear it from you guys. A big thank you to everyone who subscribes. And make sure all notifications are turned on when you subscribe, because there's a lot of people not getting notified and have been DMing me about it on different social media platforms. So, I'm in the trenches in the algorithm. I'm not going to whinge about it. I'm just going to work hard. In fact, I've just spent a lot of money on a new microphone, the same one as Joe Rogan uses, and a new daylight lamp for excellent lighting and stuff. So hopefully there'll be less reflection in my glasses when I don't use that bad boy. Anyway, I'm going to end the video there. So thank you for joining me today. And I'll see you very soon, hopefully on the next one. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me baby.